Okay, we just started recording, Mary Martin, so it's good to see you. I just got in. I drove this morning. So I got in from Ohio. I wanted to get here to be on time. So here we go. We're going to get started. Most of you have told me that you're coming. Mary Martin's going to come. So yay. Anyway, that'll be fun to see everybody. The leaves are all down. I'm just going to leave them so you can see them. Anyway, this is recovery from traveling. So what do I have? The first thing I want to do when I walk in the door is grab my pole. Why? Because it's one of the best ways that I know of to help recover your cervical spine, your shoulders, because you're sitting here. You're sitting like this. Now, I've trained myself when I'm driving to hip hinge if I need to see something intently instead of hunching. So that's the very biggest tip I can give any of you who want to travel better. But even then, you are sitting for, I was sitting for 3 hours straight, boom, no stopping. Here's my pole. So what do? The very first thing, I put my pole right here. See this? It's at the very bottom of my top of my hips, bottom of my back there. See that? See the bottom? And I put my hands like this. And I'm telling you, if you are traveling multiple days, walking around with your shoulders down and your neck, your chin down, and you want to regress, you want to go back, okay? Because we are always doing this. Yeah, we'll do that for a movement, but basically you want to get your head back, the whole head. Now, at the same time that I am really putting a traction move on my shoulders here, my tummy's tight, I'm breathing in through my nose, and I'm dropping my shoulders, dropping my shoulders, dropping my shoulders. And then I'm just gonna step over like this. I'm gonna drop my shoulders, pull my chin down, and my ears back. Okay, so I'm gonna hold that, and then I'm gonna step back, and I'm gonna take a big breath, and I'm gonna cross over. And I just push my hips forward so that I open up the hip flexors. Okay, right here is where I'm opening. So I'm stepped across, drop the pole as far down as you can. See, I'm just resting my thumb here. I'm dropping my shoulder. I'm pulling my chin down and in. So that if I came into your room right now, I could see a line that I could connect from your earlobe to your shoulder. So step over again. And depending on your level of mobility, your level of arthritis issues, joint issues, balance issues, that depends on how long you're going to hold this. Some of you, might not be able to hold it very long. That's fine. But the minute that you take a step, and I've gone over this before, but I'll tell you, when you're traveling and you're all scrunched in a seated position, you got to open up. That's basically it. And I'm starting standing up. Sure, I could lay you down, or I could say, okay, everybody lay on the floor. Well, some of you are not quite there yet. And so what are you supposed to do? You're still traveling. You're still doing, going places, and you need a recovery stance. And this is a recovery stance, and this is a recovery stance. See how I stepped over, and then I push my hips forward, and I drop my shoulders. Yeah, I'm going to keep that chin tucked. Tucked, tucked, tucked. Take breaths. This is a really good one to do a deep breath. So you're going to pull your chin down and in, And you're going to take a big breath through the nose. And then right at the end, you're going to pull in just a little more air and then release. Then you come back. So if that scares you, if you get off balance and you have both hands employed, see, I'm dropping my shoulder again. I'm telling you, if you hold this position like I'm doing, as long as I'm doing it, you will get a really, you'll give your shoulders, your neck, your back a chance to recover from a prolonged sitting. So see, I can go over here. I don't have to go super narrow. And then I push my hips forward. I drop my shoulders more. Yeah. And then I come back, take a big deep breath. And what I was about to say is, if you can't cross over one leg, that's okay. Just bring a leg up, okay? And just drop your shoulders and push your hips forward. If you can't cross over because you feel like a little out of balance, don't worry about if you can't cross over. If you can, I would prefer that. Now, to get out of this one, if you've held it this long, you're starting to feel it through your shoulders. I know I am. I'm going to drop my hands down now. Then you come forward. See, don't try to do it quickly because you just put yourself in traction, basically. Now I'm going to bring my shoulders up here to my ears. And then I'm going to, on purpose, pull my stomach in, and I'm going to reach my shoulders out like they had little hands right here, and they're reaching out. And I'm pushing down on my bar, and I'm really opening up the back muscles, okay? Big breath, again through the nose, and then drop your shoulders. Now we'll revisit that in just a second, but I'm going to put my little bar here. So I'm going to take a wide stance. Again, I'm doing these standing. I could do all of these lying. I could do them sitting, okay? But because I've been sitting straight for 3.5 hours, I'm standing. I'm going to soften my knees, just like that. See, just soften your knees. Now, on purpose, push into the toes as if you were going to lift your heels. Glance down at your feet and make sure they're pretty straight. They don't have to be board straight. They can be out a little bit, but soften your knees. Drop your shoulders. Breath through your nose. Shift into the toes as if you were going to lift your heels, but don't really. Then go back to the heels as if you were going to lift your toes, but I still have my toe box is still connected. I got my toes up, but I didn't bring my leg all the way up. Okay, that would get you too unbalanced. Okay, there's a joke there somewhere, being too unbalanced. Anyway, I digress. Okay, take one hand, I don't care which, put it behind your back. See, it's this low. See that? Now, take your hand and put it behind your head, grab your ear, and pull your head down as this hand is back behind your back and the very tops of your hips. Okay, so you're not leaning, you're pulling the ear to the shoulder. What do I mean by that? Somebody will see me do this, and you know what they'll do? They'll do this, and they'll totally miss the stretch that I'm trying to get them to do. So don't lean out like from your thoracic or your waist. Put your hand here, and you're going to pull with your fingers at your ear to just your shoulder. And this hand is back here, reaching back here, dropping down. Okay, now really pull it down. Now turn your chin a little bit, and then turn it back. See that little tiny turn? Okay, how many of you have locked your knees right now? I'll bet I caught a few. Okay, keep the pressure on. You should feel quite the stretch right here. That's the sternocleidomastoid right there. It's very tight when you're driving. Okay, now release the hand, release the head, bring the arm down. Okay, push your butt back, do a little bit of pendulum arm swings. See, I'm like keeping my chin in. Okay, my knees are soft. I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to go this way. See this? I'm going to go thumbs in, thumbs up. I'm not going fast, and I'm not lifting like this. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. Just push your butt back, not real deep, and then go like this. Turn your thumb up. Thumb in, thumb up, thumb in, thumb up, thumb in, thumb up, thumb in, thumb up, thumb in, thumb up. Then come back. So this is the hand that I had behind my back. So now I'm going to reverse that. Step wide. And the whole time I'm doing this, see, I'm shifting into my heels, into my toes. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Then I'm going to take this hand, and I'm going to put it back here. I'm going to take this hand and come over my head. Now, the minute that I started to come up over my head, I'm sure that some of you started leaning. So what we're trying to do is address cervical tightness and strain from driving long hours. So I just got in this morning, about 30 minutes before I got on here. Yeah, 3 hours I drove to get on here so I could do this class for you guys. Okay, I'm doing it for myself too. Drop your shoulders. See, this hand is right here. This hand is right here. And then I'm going to just grab my ear here. And with this hand over here, with my shoulders down, breathing in through my nose, knees are soft, chin tucked, and I'm going to put a gentle pressure to bring my ear to my shoulder. So don't, I cautioned you about over leaning. See, this is to do with the cervical spine here and your neck. And if I do this, that's not going to address that. So I still have this hand here. My shoulder is down. I'm pulling and putting my ear like it's going to go on my shoulder. And then I turn my neck. I turn my chin just a little bit down. Then I turn it just a little bit up. See that? Big breath. Now release and come back down. Now release. Yeah. Now do that. Thumbs in, thumbs up. See that? Thumbs in, thumbs up. So this turning is just to help you mobilize through your shoulders, shoulder joint, elbow, wrists. Because what are you doing when you're driving for 3 hours straight? What are you doing? You're gripping. I know it. So open those hands, thumbs are up. See, I'm leaning out just like this. Knees are soft. Pushing into the heels, pushing into the toes. Big breath, pushing into the heels, pushing into the toes. Into the toes, into the heels. See how I'm turning? That's kind of important. Thumbs in, thumbs up. Thumbs in, thumbs up. Thumbs in, thumbs up. Then I come right down here. I turn, just touch down on the lower part of the leg. Then I go back into a little hip hinge, and I go down as far as I can. Okay? So once I've done that, that's getting that trajectory down, and then I come up and I put my hands again right there. Right there. Drop your shoulders, soften your knees, push the hips forward. This is one of the best things you can do if you stop and take a break and go to the bathroom, get out there before you sit down again. Do this move for at least 2 30-second holds. See, I'm just stepping wide, softening up my knees, dropping my shoulders, breathing through the nose, putting the heel of my hand right here, and pushing. This is not when you tighten. You don't tighten the butt or anything. You're trying to open here because that's what's closed when you're sitting prolonged. Then you come out of that. And those of you who came on before I started, the very first move, the very first thing I did when I came in this morning was grab my pole, put it behind my back, drop my shoulders, hang my thumbs right here, right there. Just hang my thumbs right there. See, the pole is at the top of the hips, lower back, drop your shoulders, and then just push all the way out as far as you can. Just drop your shoulders, drop your shoulders, drop your shoulders. Big deep breath, big deep breath. I can turn, okay? A little pivot, little pivot. So this is travel recovery. And I'm doing most of these standing today. I could do a lot of them even seated, but I've been seated. So my purpose is to get you up. Okay, so if you can do this. Now, that's one of the first things I started with. And then I helped you work on your cervical spine area. And then one of the other best things you can do, I have my little pad here. You don't have to step on a pad, but I'm going to put it out just a little bit. I'm going to step on it. See that? Or I could go wide. See, I could go wide, which that's a good way to start. Let's just start there. Go wide. You're not narrow here. I'm going to grab a hold of this desk. It does not move. It could be a door for you. It could be the leg of a bed, the bedpost, something that won't move. And I'm going to reach right here, and I'm going to step in, adjust my step, and I'm going to just sit back. And I'm going to put my ears right at my bicep, right at my biceps. So then I'm going to turn up one shoulder, then turn up and down the other shoulder. See that? So you're pushing back. Make sure the item is not going to move on you. Ears are right at your bicep. You're digging in with your heels. Pull and pull. You're just really pulling back with that butt. Pull and pull and pull and pull. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Then when you come up, you're going to just go in again. See, I'm trying to, everything I can do is to get you to recover from a prolonged sitting. I don't care if it's a conference that you're at and you can't get up, or a travel. In any way, you're going to be seated. So the 3 classic moves that I just showed you, what to open up is, of course, this one, and then opening through your shoulders. There's nothing that will help facilitate that better than a pole. Yeah, the only thing that would equal hanging out on a pole would be to go to a corner and put your hands like this and step in, but you're accomplishing the same thing by just hanging out here with your thumbs on a pole. See that? I'm telling you, spend some time the first 15 minutes that you get in, or it could be as little as 30 seconds. Just hang on to that and hang out there to do that. The other thing, of course, is shoulder circles. Okay, but here's the problem. When people do shoulder circles, I see them doing this. They do this, and they don't really get into anything. So you're going to take one hand and just put it out in front of you. See that? And you're going to slow this movement down. See, I'm going to reach back, and then I'm going to scoop. See that? And I come back around. And then I try to act like I'm throwing a ball. Okay? Then when I go up, I start to bend the elbow. See, I can touch the top of my head with my thumb. That's kind of important, to get your elbow up that high and then go back. See how I'm opening right here? And then I come down and I come down. 1 or 2, will totally help reset that shoulder. Let's do the other one. Okay, here we go. Act like you're gonna throw something. And the whole reason I'm having you do this, there's many different ways you can do it. You can do this, you can do, stuff with your elbows. I'm trying to help reset these from slumping over and traveling, if that's what you were doing. Hopefully you weren't doing it, but you're still gonna get stiff. Here, you go up like you're raising your hand, tighten it on your tummy. Right now, drop your shoulder. Then you start to bend as you go back. And then see my thumb? My thumb's on my head. My elbow is going up to the sky. See that? Then pull the elbow back and then come down and around. You don't have to do this repeatedly. I would rather you do it slowly, very controlled, and just do 2. You throw, you act like you're gonna raise your hand, and then the thumb is gonna go where? Onto the head, and then soften your knees, take a breath, take that elbow way up as it's going back to help you scoop. See that? That is a version of a shoulder shrug or shoulder, doing shoulder rolls that really will help. Okay, now we're going to move on. I am going to get in the floor. For those of you who don't like it or cannot get in the floor, you can do many of these up against a wall. Just get up against a wall, either with your head touching the wall, or you turn it like this. I know you have to adjust it to see what I'm doing and all that. See, like if I was up against a wall, it would be like that, up against a wall. And you could lean into the wall and use it like we're using the ground, okay? But before we do that, come to a chair. And if you stopped for a break when you're traveling and you ate something, before you get up, grab the little the front of your chair, wherever you're sitting, take a breath, drop your shoulders, lift off, and then come down with your nose to your knee. And then bend one knee and straighten one knee. Bend one knee and straighten one knee. Now go and sit down. You know why I had you sit down? Is because the blood will start coming to your head and you'll get a little panicky because you think you're going to get dizzy. So what I'm telling you is, unless you have some other medical condition that makes you dizzy, that's a normal thing, and you can get kind of used to it, okay? Just like training. So let's do it again. I'm gonna do it 3 times. So you're sitting at a table, you ate something. Now before you get up, just turn it around. If you're traveling and you're in, people know people are just trying to stretch. So you're pushing down on the chair. You're gonna lift your butt up. You're gonna hang on to the chair, and then you're gonna bring one toe up and then the other toe up. And you should feel a really nice, gentle stretch coming up the backs of your legs just by pulling that toe up and turning. And just stay there as many seconds as you feel you can. It might be 3 seconds. Maybe it's 10. Then you sit back down, okay? And then the blood will flow back. Veins and arteries. Yeah, it's all about blood flow. And so the more that you do change positions and so forth, you'll get used to that. Okay, last time, take a breath. I'm sitting. I just finished eating or whatever. I'm going to go use the bathroom. Put my hands here, drop my shoulders. My feet are the width of the chair. And then I'm going to lift up like I'm going to get up. And then I'm just going to bring my body as close into my legs as I can. And then I'm going to pull a toe up, and then a toe up, and a toe up, and a toe up, and a toe up, and a toe up. And then I'll just go sit down before I take off to do whatever else I have to do before I get in the car again. Now, before you get down on the floor with me or on the wall with me, because I'm going to do a lot of stuff for in between the shoulders on the floor, okay? Before you do that, and you're sitting, if you can't cross your legs, cross at least at your ankle. Do that. Just do that. And just let this knee roll out. This is my hip replace side. It's not going to hurt it. Okay? If you can bring the leg up so that your ankle is crossing your knee, great. But you know what? You won't feel it if you rounded your back. You can't round your back here. You got to get it extended. How you do that? Act like somebody's pulling your rib cages up, okay? And just hang on. Hang out here for a little bit. This is another thing that you can do to stretch your hip when you're on a trip. Just bring it, just open, just push your chair back if you're at a table and open at the hip. Rib cage up. Gentle pressure right here. Yeah. So this is my hip replace side. I'm not pushing hard on it. After I've held it there for a little bit, I come back in. I open a little. I either cross my lower leg and just lean in and push a little bit and you'll feel a great stretch. Or if I can bring that ankle up to cross my knee. But here's the thing. In order to get the ankle up to cross the knee, all bets are off if you rounded your back. So if you can't do that without rounding your back, you got to hip hinge, cross, just and then sneak it up there. Make sure your back is extended. Then open back, put that hand right here. So this is my knee replace side. This is my hip that's talking to me. It's tight because I sat for 3 hours straight. I know it. I did that just so I could get on for you guys this morning. Here we go. See? Push. Yeah. See, I'm just pushing a little bit. Super big stretch right through here. Actually feels really good to stretch it. Okay? Then you just release it. You come down. Turn. See? Turn. Keep your chin tucked. Take a breath. Turn. Take a breath. Turn. Take a breath. One of the tips I can tell you is when you're in long stretches and everything's safe to do this, and you're using the cruise, I just do a series of these. Many of you have discovered to do this. Yeah, I mean, you don't do it in traffic, of course, but if you're in long stretches, just do some of these. Do you know that this little movement right here, on a plane trip, a bus trip, a car trip, this movement is enough to prevent a condition called deep vein thrombosis. Of course, blood clot in the lower leg. But you're moving to enough so that will mitigate that greatly, okay? So now I'm gonna go on down to get in the floor and I'm gonna concentrate on laying on my tummy. So I'm gonna be prone. So that means if you're on a wall, you can do all of this with your shoulders if you just lean yourself up to a wall and you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I hope you understand that. So I can get down from the chair or I can get down with just going straight down. Now I'm gonna be this way. So I'm gonna be down here like this so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay, and you can use a pole for this next part. Very well, you can use a pole. You'll see how in just a minute. So I'm coming down here. I got to move my chair just a little bit because I'm going to do it a different way in just a minute. Okay. I'm going to just crawl myself down. And boy, once you get down into the ground and you've been driving for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, just getting down or going against the wall and pushing back. That will help tremendously, okay? Just doing that. Now, once I've done that for a little while, I can come down here and I'm going to put my forehead on my hands right here. See my forehead? Because we're going to start concentrating on this very tight trapezius. It goes right in between your shoulder blades. So my forehead's down. I'm going to take one elbow up and go back over my back, open, and I'm going to go turn and turn. Thumbs are up, thumbs are down. Elbow is bent. Act like you're trying to put your elbow back over your back. Just pull. Then turn that thumb down, turn that thumb up. So if you're against the wall, you can do the same kind of a thing. Just lean into the wall like we are leaning into the floor and put your forehead on your hands. Bring the other hand out. Get that elbow like it's going over your back. Open. Like you're trying to reach something. Then you go elbow over the back, elbow over the back, and then when you're stretched out with your hand, turn your thumb down, turn your thumb up. Constantly keep dropping the shoulders. Thumb up, thumb down, then bring that elbow over the back and bring it back. Now you're going to be right here, and I'm going to grab my pole here, okay? And I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out as far as I can. Now, some of you have some real shoulder issues. You're not going to be able to stretch your hands out, but I'm addressing the cervical spine here and that trapezius that gets so tight because of sitting and gripping the wheel. So I'm going to come right here. I'm going to bring the bar right here to my head, and I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to bring it up. So be very careful when you bring it up. So again, drop your shoulders. You're elevating your head. So you're working against gravity. You're going to bring the pole up with you. And then you're going to go out a little bit and then lift. So in order to lift, you got to squeeze your butt. Okay? So breath and squeeze and lift. And then bring it way out. Then lift. Bring it way out. Then lift. Bring it way out. And then lift. Bring it way out. Then come down. Put your hands here again. Then you're going to rotate to either side. So if you're on the wall, you can just rotate to the side. Put your hand on the wall and just push your hip into the wall, because I'm going to open back. I'm going to bring this knee forward. And you see, I can let my head go down, or I can hold it in this position because I'm stretching through my very tight neck. See that? So I'm opening right here. You can bend your elbow if you want to, and see, I've just cupped my hand. I'm giving my head support, but I'm trying to turn that chin over to the shoulder. Take a big breath, bring it back, bring it back. Then you're going to come right to the center again. Then you're going to go to the other side. So you're going to roll, put your hand under your head, bring one knee forward, and the arm goes back. So you're just cupping that hand. You're turning that chin. You're just supporting your the back of your head there, and you're just opening, 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 opening. Take breath, big breath, big breath, big breath, big breath, and then come back in, and then come back in, and then lay flat. Now, I'm not going to do a full 15 minutes, but I'm going to show you one one of the most important things you can do after you've driven for a long time, you're trying to just feel better or normal. The best thing you can do is lay yourself down. If you have to, lay yourself down on a firm bed. I like to get people down in the floor and just take those legs out. Make sure your shoulders are down and you're right down here on the floor. You can put your palms up and just stay right here. Your legs are just about shoulder width, and then you just a point and a flex, and then you just be. You just drop your shoulders, take breaths through your nose. When you take a breath through your nose, your diaphragm should go up, and that makes your belly come out and then back in. Okay, palms are up. Drop your shoulders. And then if you can sneak your hands up a little bit, take them up a little bit. Let the backs of your hands be on the ground and drop your shoulders while you're holding this position. So while I'm that, now if I could get somebody to just turn on a podcast or music or whatever and just stay here for about 15 minutes, that's what I do. After you've hung out here and you've gone up as high as you can with your elbows, your shoulders are down, then you bring one knee in and up. Now, you could do this if you're standing against a wall, but you would have to put your heel on a chair, okay? You could still be doing this, standing at a wall, and then I do point and flex, and I'm in what's called an L stretch. See the L stretch? The knee is over the tummy or the belly button, and this one is straight out. Don't let your ankle turn out on this one. And you're just gonna hang out here for a little bit. Now, what if you can't go all the way up into an L? Then you come down a little further and just keep it out this way, or just don't go for a straight leg pull. Just keep it bent a little bit. That's perfectly fine. I'm concerned about this right here, the knee over the tummy. And you hang out there, then you bring it down, then you go to the other leg. Do not let your toe wander out. Bring your knee in and go up and go as far as you can to feel that stretch coming right through the heel, all the way through the calf, all the way through the back of the knee and the hamstring. And if it's shaking, then that's too much. You're not ready. So you got to bend your knee a little bit, but keep the knee over the tummy, okay? And then you come back up, drop your shoulders. See, I constantly am dropping my shoulders while I keep this up here. So here's your L stretch. You're just gonna hang out here for a little bit. You can do ankle circles, you can do point flex, but you can't go out here like this because it will mitigate this stretch. So if you have to, bend your knee and keep that knee in and then start sneaking it up. See there? That's the progression that you want to see right there. So you just go like that. Your ankle is gonna turn one way or the other, just like that. You can do point flex. This helps realign your whole frame after sitting for a prolonged time, okay? So now I wanna activate my tummy, my abdominal muscles, my core. So how am I gonna do that? Not sit-ups. I'm gonna go in like this, and I'm gonna go out like this. See that? And I can come in, and I can go out. And I would say to tighten your tummy. Then I could go drop to the heel, drop to the heel. This should be taunt. Drop to the heel, come back in. Put that leg down. Keep those hands up as far as you feel you can. Take a break anytime you need to. I'm going to come in. And I'm going to go out. And I'm going to bring that heel down. Now, this is where you want to keep your tummy tight. Okay, you're supporting your back in this particular move so that your abdominal muscles actually start to work a bit. Because when you're sitting, that's not generally what's happening. So if I do something like this, it will start those abdominal muscles to work. Then I can come in, I can come in. I'm going to take a big deep breath. And then I'm going to bring my heels down here, only one at a time. So now I'm continuing that abdominal, turning those abdominal muscles on. So it's just a tap, and then it comes back. Take a breath, tap, come back, and tap, and come back. And if you were standing against the wall, you would just tap your leg out. Bring the knee back to your tummy and back in. Tap and tap and tap and tap. And you can feel your whole musculature now heating up because you're turning those abdominal muscles on just by doing this little tapping, one leg and then the other leg. Take a breath, then I'm going to put it down. Okay? Now, after you've had a prolonged ride, what are you sitting on the whole time? Yeah, you're sitting on your gluteals, your butt. So let's get that tightening in, and let's get going up into a hip lift, okay? Because that's one of the best ways that you can, again, address the recovery process of sitting and doing a long trip. Take a big deep breath. See, I'm going to come up. I'm going to squeeze really tight. Hold it for a couple of counts, then come back down. I'm not trying to get any set repetitions here. We're trying to recover from a long trip, right? So I just want to turn those muscles on, get them working, get blood in there, oxygenate my whole body, and I'm going to feel so much better. Take a big deep breath, come back down. Big breath, drop your shoulders again. See, I keep correcting. Then take one hand and go up as far as you feel you can. Turn toward that hand with your chin. Lift with the hips. Come up. Really squeeze tight, squeeze tight, squeeze tight, squeeze tight. Then come back down. Then reverse it. I'm going to bring the other hand up as far as I feel I can. I'm going to turn my chin over to that shoulder. Squeeze into the butt. Lift, lift, lift. Hold it right up there. Lift, lift, lift. And then come back down. And I can do that as long as I feel like I'm benefiting from it. Or I could go and just lay right down. And just hold that laying down for like 15 minutes. Okay. So I'm moving toward going ahead and standing up. So if I'm down on the floor, and if I'm not down on the floor, if I'm seated or if I'm against the wall, this one is done easier if you sit yourself down. So one of the things that I aimed at through this whole session is to open up here, okay? So how can I do that if I have a replaced knee, a replaced hip? I've been sitting for how many hours? I'm very tight. I'm like, oh, what can I do? Well, rotating through the hip and the knee is one way to do it. And then I can turn that on around, and then I'm not super tight. I'm not putting pressure on that replaced joint. I'm moving it, and I'm opening right here. That's what I'm doing. And I can do this as long as I feel that I want to. If it's helping you feel better, you just open back here, put a little pressure through the shoulders, keep your shoulders down, just like this, and just like this, okay? Bring your hand around, take a big breath, bring your hand around, take a big breath. So that kind of rotation is going to be very beneficial. Then I'm going to come right into my hands and knees, I'm going to do some of those cat camels. Those are very helpful in recovering from a long trip because you're bringing your shoulders way up to your ears. And you can do this against a car fender or a chair. You don't have to be in the floor. Take a big deep breath. Here we go. And again, don't worry about the repetitions when you're trying to recover from sitting for that long. Just do several that makes you start to feel, oh, yeah, that's getting into that tight shoulder or that tight back. See? All the way up and then back down. Drop your shoulders. Okay, and then all the way up and back down and drop your shoulders. So I'm going to come up, push through the toes, come up. And so I want to just recap for those of you who can't get in the floor and you sat in a chair. We've done this many times, okay? And just add the upper body component and make sure when you turn, you're opening back so that you can really feel that stretch. And then turn and look over the chair. And you come right back here and you drop that knee and you turn and look over the here. Drop the shoulders. Take a big deep breath. Stay opening, okay? Then groin. So sitting in a chair is one of the best ways you can start getting into that groin. Yeah, you sit on the edge and then you just act like I'm behind you and my hands are on your shoulder blades. Make sure your back is extended or this will not work. I'm going to push out with my elbows right here, my forearm. And right now I'm feeling such a great stretch in the groin, okay? So come right on down, act like my hands are between your shoulder blades and on the small of your back, and I'm just gently giving a little pressure. You can do your own pressure by pushing out, and you come down and you rotate to one leg, you rotate to the other leg, rotate to one leg, stay down, take breaths, take breaths, take breaths. You should feel a powerful stretch right now coming right up through the groin. Drop your shoulders, big breath through the nose, drop your shoulders, breath through the nose, drop your shoulders, breath through the nose, okay? Now when you come up from this, don't ask your back to come up by itself. Put your hands here and push yourself back, okay? I don't know about you, but just doing those, there's about 4 to 6 main moves that I went from and did some other things. But I can tell you, I feel a ton better by doing it. Just doing some of those basic moves that is aimed right at tight shoulders and the tight hips. Because, in fact, you've been sitting, see, like I was sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of this. Okay. I'm glad you came in.